Hello. Happy Saturday. How's it going, y'all? Our co-working music on here. Hey. Welcome to Party Wipe. Episode 19 here. Open the pod bay doors, Hal. I'm sorry, Dave. I can't do that. Hey, Darnash. How's the game going? It's going. How's everyone doing today? Hey, Rhiannon. All right, yeah, we're on our 4th week here. This week has been not a week of huge progress. This has been a week of quietly figuring out how 2 very different systems are going to talk to each other. I initially tried, since I developed them, you know, in parallel, the card handling system and the tile map, battle map thing separately. They like talk directly to each other. Well, at first they both interpreted the same signals separately and in parallel. Then I was like, that's crazy. So then they started talking directly to each other, and that also ended up being kind of crazy. So we're gonna refactor today, and we're just gonna have them both signal up to someone above both of them, which will then orchestrate and ask questions of each of them and then figure out what to do next. I wanted to do a bottom-up approach, but the way the interaction layers are set up between the UI and the tile map, that's not going to be possible. So we're going to do this. So it's kind of a refactor day, so not going to be like a super exciting or sexy day, but you know, it's Saturday. You finished the other game? No. We paused it, Rikia. I'm trying to make a game I'm trying to put out a demo, a Steam demo by the end of the year. So we engineered a new game concept designed to be small, simple, easy. Something I can do in a short period of time just to get something out there instead of, you know, my multi-year dream games. I say many. You love roguelikes, you like deck builders as well. Well, then you'll need to try this out when I get a itch.io build up. Hopefully next month. But yeah, it's called Party Wipe. It's a roguelike deck builder where you draft an RPG party and then have like little turn-based battles with that party. So it's kind of a flip. It's kind of a twist on the usual. The cards are like the nouns, not the verbs. And all the verbs occur in like an Into the Breach style little turn-based combat. Hey, Sapphire. How's it going? Happy Saturday. I'll tell you now since you're here, there will be no stream tomorrow. I didn't do a stream Friday. I was doing fun stuff. I was thinking about doing a makeup stream tomorrow, aka Sunday. I'm not going to do it. Because if I did it, that would be episode 20. And I've kind of got some like little rebrand stuff in mind for episode 20, since, you know, this being a very D&D inspired game, episode 20 seems like a good reset moment. So I'm going to delay so that episode 20 can be on Tuesday, and that gives me some more time to finish stuff that I honestly haven't started working on yet. But we're here today. We're here. We're in it. So I've escalated all these signals that used to be... So battle map layer is the one that handles all the turn-based map stuff. And then party roster at the moment is pretty much the one that interprets card plays. The one who's in charge of this roster and the character sheets and all that stuff. So they were working in parallel, and then they were talking directly to each other. And then I decided I actually want them to be orchestrated by someone above them. And the only the only node above both of them is main. And currently main isn't doing anything, so main is going to be kind of an orchestrator of all of its children here. For now. So we need to rehook up a bunch of stuff with this new idea in mind here, handling things this way. It should be good. It should allow us to abstract out a lot of stuff and more easily follow along code instead of having a lot of really Byzantine direct connections between nodes that don't really know what the other one is doing. Signaling everything up to a common ancestor and then having the ancestor call back down seems like the simplest thing I could do. Is everything broken right now? State of things. Okay, so we can still play a card. We can play a card onto the map. We can select the guy on the map. And we can play another night card to level up the guy on the map. Note how the card isn't exchanged for a token until it's directly over. I like that. I made that change. I think I prefer that. Not last week, a couple days ago. Yeah. It turned into a token as soon as it hit the map. But I like this better. I think this is good. If it was an equipment token, you would see the equipment token and not the knight. It's a little confusing since it's the knight. I have mixed feelings about showing the level. I have mixed feelings about showing the level thing. I think it's slightly confusing. The level frame around the token here. I want the white highlight. I like the white highlight. But maybe not. I don't know. We'll mess around with that more. That's not really what we're concerned with today. Hey, Commander. Happy birthday again. You're gonna do some streams next week, hopefully, Sapphire? Ooh, that'll be fun. Yeah. If I didn't stream because I was in a sour mood from work, I would never stream. No, I'm kidding. My work isn't bad. I like my job. But still, it's one of those things. It is hard. It is hard, but sometimes you just gotta power through it. But I feel it. If it's especially crazy, do not go nuts. You know, just focus on what you gotta do. So we can level this up. Now we got a leveled up guy. So I want to rehook this stuff up. Rehook this up, work a little differently. Right now, these systems are talking directly to each other. And I don't love that. It's a little bit better than the system where they were both independently interpreting signal calls or signal emits from the same source and just kind of working in parallel and hoping that everything worked out. My feet are hot. Hold on. It's warm here. I think it's warm everywhere right now. But, warm. Here we go. All right. The cool, fresh air. I feel like streaming will help you put you in a better mood. That's honestly how it works for me. I will be tired, I will be cranky, I will be all of these things when I start the stream, and then like 30 minutes into the stream, I'm in just a better mood. It's a great way to reset. It's a great way to create a bunch of associations that allow you to reset. 30 degrees Celsius in your room right now, that's way worse than it is here. But we're also very fragile here in San Francisco. All right, so we got all these signals. Most of the signals at the moment are going to be coming from the battle map. The battle map has these concepts. One is a card token, and the other is a character figure, or figurine, or whatever you want to interpret that. Like a minifig. So a card token is like a temporary substitute for the card that hasn't been played yet, but is being threatened. You know, something that's hovering over the map. And then a character fig is when you actually put something down on the board, like a character. Because some card tokens might just be equipment. Some card tokens might be characters. We'll probably use a similar system. I might rename it to like map token or something. And maybe a character fig is a special kind of map token. I'm gonna have to think about how I want to do that. Because I'll need to come up with a concept of how to represent similar token things that are spawned directly off a character and not off a card. Like if a ranger sets a trap. I guess that's not a card token. That's more of a character fig. We'll have to figure out. We'll have to figure out how I want to do that. But we're not going to worry about that right now. What we're going to worry about right now is reinterpreting some stuff that occurs. So we want to do two things. We're interested in what happens when a card is dragged. This is the signal I've started working on first, on what happens when a card is dragged. We want to do a number of things. We want to identify where the card could be played, because that's important, and or what the card could be played on. Let's see how long I can keep these things working in parallel. Hey, Nanigans. So, like, when I play my first knight, when I drag a knight here, it's like, hey, there aren't any knights on the board. Okay, that means you could play a knight in the deployment area, which is enclosed by these yellow triangles. I think this continuity will make more sense when the card highlights on grab, if I'm able to manage that. Then it will make more sense that it turns into this. So anyway, this is like where the card could be played. The battle map knows that, so the battle map will turn the card into a token if it's been put somewhere it can be played. And for this case, it's an area, which complicates things slightly, because every other card situation besides playing a new hero only works if you play it in exactly the right spot. So when I drag the knight, it's like, okay, where are all the knights? Well, there's only one, so you can play it here. If it was like a sword and like 3 different people could hold a sword, all 3 of those people would be arrowed like this, and then you would pick one and you would pop it over. I want to do like a kind of light highlight of the roster when we're at that point. But maybe not. It would be hard to do that the way it's set up as a button. You can't just arbitrarily do that. It seems hard to fake a hover for a button. I haven't figured out how to do it yet. I'm letting myself get distracted. I could maybe do it with focus mode if I can figure out how focus mode works. Yeah, we don't want it to grab focus, because if it grabs focus, it will snag whatever card. Well, I guess in this case, no, it would just snag it away from the card. Problematic. Yeah, only one control can be focused at a time. So it's not really an option. It's fine. It's also not what we're trying to work on today. All right, let's start rehooking things up. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to start with a card drag. So when a card gets dragged, just when it gets dragged, you want the system to kind of interpret where it could be played and provide hints. Like the knight can be played here. And then once there's a knight, it'll be like, oh, the knight could be played on this knight. And so that's what the yellow arrows are for, of like hints where you could play them. That's already happening. Hey, Fox Shadow, how's it going? This card game going to be in the FTL game? No. This is something we're working on to hopefully just make something quick and good. This is an engineered idea that we came up with, you know, a few weeks ago, as something that I could put a demo out by the end of the year and release something early next year, instead of my many-year dream game projects that I've currently paused while I do this. How's it going, Fox? All right. So we're going to start unhooking things and then rehooking them up the way I want to do it. Today is a refactoring kind of day. I think I already replaced a lot of the initial behavior that I want from a card drag. Previously, we did it in this mat card entered thing. I think we want to move this into a card drag, a lot of this. I guess what we can do is we can figure out what card is being dragged, and we can direct a lot of the behavior from there. So we know we want to do all of these things. We want to set the card dragged on the battle map so the battle map can do some like per frame processing stuff that it needs to do. We clear the card preview, whatever card preview is being displayed. That also closes the character sheet. I may want to consolidate some of these, but for now we'll just do it like this. How's everyone doing this Saturday? Hopefully not melting. You're doing well. Currently designing the AI behind alien encounter communications. Ooh. Are you gonna have to like try to understand the alien? Or be forced to just blast it? I know some people who work on alien communication games, like trying to interpret signals from unknown societies and alien minds. It's a pretty cool area. SIGINT. Or, no. They have their own word. I don't remember. Working on your Jellyfin server, Sapphire? Nice, nice. I'm going to do a media server at some point. I have a old Windows computer that I'm going to decommission and then recommission as a Linux server box thing. I'm excited to get into some of that stuff. I'm sure that'll be where a bunch of time that I don't have goes. All right, so what we're going to do here, we want to know what kind of card it is, because that will determine our response. We'll say variable card res. It's got to at least be a base card res, and it's going to be the card.card data. And now we can have like a match statement for the card res. We can say card res. And then I think we can just say things like, if it's if it's a hero card res, we'll do this. If it's like an equip card res, we'll do this. We can do a little bit of filtering so that we're not doing too many of these checks once we actually call down. We don't have to interpret too much of this stuff. Although that's going to kind of not totally work with the way the battle map functions currently. Maybe we need to be more specific about what's being dragged. But the battle map needs to do some per frame stuff because it needs to know where the cursor is and what's happening with that. Is different. I really wanted to do some like basic signaling up from like sprites layered over the tile map layer, but it's really tough with the playmat where it is. The way the card plugin works, you basically just can't do that. The playmat just basically eats all input, no matter what, even if it's like set to pass. The one time that we would care about some of this stuff is the playmat will just always eat all the input, so we need to do kind of a more top-down approach. Fox, the alien comms will be quote-unquote garbled, depending on your communication officer skill set. Nice. Yeah, having to like interpret what someone's doing, pretty cool. It's a pretty compelling story. You know, for those of us who have studied the Earth-Minbari War, that's an interesting, interpreting the intentions of an alien species is an interesting problem. Obviously, it's like most of Star Trek. All right, so is there an advantage to figuring out what kind of card has been dragged before we go into this? Maybe. Let's look at the battle map. Because currently the battle map is like doing a lot. It's doing a lot, and it's needing to know what the card res is. So maybe that distinction doesn't help us as much as we thought it did. Maybe the battle map doesn't do this. But maybe it does. It probably does. I don't love this part. I don't love this part of the project where I've like built a few features and I'm like, okay, I see how this works. If I keep going down this road, I know it's going to become unmanageable. I need to refactor it into something more intelligible. I know that's an important thing and it's a good thing. I just hate doing it. It's like almost as bad as thinking about architecture. What was that you mentioned you had read about figuring out alien intentions? Oh, I hadn't read anything. I know somebody... Well, we were talking about... Most recently, I was talking about that being like the whole point of like most of Star Trek. And also the cause of the Earth-Minbari War. So, spoilers. That's a Babylon 5 joke. And I do know somebody who is making a video game about that. But they're doing it as like a puzzle game. It's like a puzzle game. It's very cool. 1420 megahertz. I don't know how much of a web presence they have yet. But that's a famous, that's the frequency of the WoW signal, I think. WoW, not as in World of Warcraft, but as in WOW exclamation mark. All right, yeah, I'm not quite sure how I want to do this. So we're handling this case of the card dragged. Maybe we just set... It's effectively the same thing, isn't it? Yeah, it's still maybe better. Let's say we do that like this. Oh, no, I did want to do it like this. Yeah, this is okay. This is okay. We'll do it like this. Do it like this. So when we drag the card, from my standpoint, I care if it's a hero card or an equipment card. We'll treat it very differently. We also want to know, the first thing we want to know is whether this is a card that is already on the board, like it's a hero that's already on the board or not. We want to know that. That's the first thing we want to check. I was doing that here. So we do this. This is handled. This is handled. This is not handled. All right. I set this up. I don't know if I want to do it this way. I had some dictionaries so you can get from the figure to the sheet. Sheet is the thing that represents like the card UI stuff, and the figure is its presence on the battle map. And there are different things. One's UI and one's, you know, on the board, as it were. I think instead of this is usually my go-to simple system. I think instead we're gonna do like a string name, string or string name array, and then we'll just pop these into other dictionaries indexed by that array, and I think that'll be fine. Is it the best? Probably not. Is it okay? It might be okay. Is there another way I would like to do that? Maybe. We're gonna do it like this though. I really don't get getting bogged down in this kind of stuff. I don't find it terribly helpful. To be a string name, to be a string or a string name? That is the question. I think that's fine. The irony is that Star Trek is a Babylon 5 knockoff. Specifically Deep Space Nine. But Deep Space Nine ended up being like one of the greatest things ever created, so it's hard to be mad. All right, so let's do this. Let's say let's just store the card name because I feel like we're going to use it. Although maybe we won't use it if it's an equipment. Yeah, we wouldn't use it if it's an equipment. We'll store it here. We'll say card name. Is it going to be a string name? And it's cardres.cardName. And we'll say variable character IDX. It's an int, and it's going to be character names. Dot find. Find is the index of equivalent here, right? Index of, no. Returns an int, yeah. That should be fine. Super fast comparisons with string names. Look at the IDX. We'll say if character IDX is less than 0, then we'll presume that it's not present. And we will kick into that version of the process of what we do if it's not present. So I don't want this behavior to be bubbled up. I want this function to be encapsulated down here, and I want it to be called from up here. So if it's not, what we're going to do then is we're going to say party roster dot preview new party member. Why not? You know, one of the things I hate about providing feedback, constant feedback to the player, is the number of times that I need to preview what will happen if the player does something, but I don't actually want to commit it. Pain in the butt. Hey, Nix. Tomorrow the heat's supposed to let up. Nice. You have 202.7 thousand points right now. Yeah, there's... Sapphire, you got 100? Yeah, I got nothing. I was just going to give people Steam keys and stuff, but apparently I'm not allowed to offer anything of actual material value. So, yeah. You got 23.5? Yep. I'll let you in on a secret. I have an infinite number of channel points. For me, it just shows the infinity symbol. I have infinite shields and spears, which is humorous that that's what I came up with for that. All right, so if the character index is less than 0, we'll do that. Else, we're going to say party member dot preview. So if we already have this party member, actually, we don't want to do anything in the other case at this junction. We only want to do this. Go up here. I should probably pass some information along. Probably be useful. I just need to pass in the card res, right? Should be fine. So we know it's a hero card res in this case. Okay. And then I want to do this stuff. Card name, party tab, card name, card res. I could pass in the card name as well. We already have it, might as well. You gonna take me to a function? No. Totally useless. Why isn't that working the way I want it to? I love how the engine's like, you've told us that this has to be one of these, but unless you do this, we're not going to believe you. I love that. Ridiculous. I kind of understand why, but it's still ridiculous. That's what happens when you have an engine that's non-committal about being strictly typed. I still don't get to just jump to this function. That's annoying. Is it because of the compilation error? That's probably why. It's not a competition, but Rhiannon has 203,000 channel points. If I was cool, like practical, I would have a system where you could become like feudal lords of like a virtual realm. Spend your channel points buying fiefs and land and developing the land. And all right, so if we do this, then we want to do I actually care about this check? I probably care about this check. Interesting how I put this here. I see why I did that originally, but it's definitely not what I want to do going forward. Okay, so we do that. If we drag out a card that's a hero card that hasn't been played ever, so like there's no representative for that character on the board. Thanks for the hydrate and the stretch, Rhiannon. Yeah, so could Nyx, which is why we're not doing that. Actually, that's not why. What am I talking about? We're not doing that. B, yeah, I don't know. It would be cool to do something with channel points. It would be cool. That's about as far as I'm willing to think through that. All right, so we don't care if it's not a hero card. Similarly, if it's an equipment card, this is the part where I'm like, I want to do something with this, and I don't think I can. If you just drag a card with a piece of equipment, there's nothing in the party roster that we want to do about that. But we do want to tell the battle map about it. And actually, I guess the party roster would be involved. The party roster needs to tell us. And we probably need an array. We need to ask the party roster who can equip this card and get a list back. A list of what, though? Names? Maybe names. Maybe character sheets directly. Character names is so very wrong. This is more like types. But whatever. Because characters do have names the way I've conceived of them, but the names are like temporary. It's like, oh, this time your knight was Joffrey. Then Joffrey died. Then you played your knight card again. Now it's not Joffrey. Now it's like Steve. I think that's funny. All right, so what we want to do is we want to get back a... Let's say valid characters. Get an array, string names. Could also just call it candidates. Compatible characters, maybe. And it's going to be party roster dot find compatible wielders, maybe? Find equipment wielders. Find compatible potential. Find compatible equipment wielders. Characters. Do I want the card name if I do that? No, we can just give it the card res. Hey, Win CG69, thank you for the follow. You have some advice? Yes, specifically because you put the word advice in quotes, which is exactly what I would do before giving anyone else advice. So yes, welcome in. Okay, so if we find them, we'll have like a if comp characters dot size is greater than 0. So if we find compatible characters, then what we can do is we can then tell the battle map, hey, here are the compatible characters. We can have like a battle map.
Oh yes, the sleeping pills.
We can call it like Mark. Compatible. Say Mark compatible equip wielders. I think that's a little too wordy and specific, but I'm trying to do a good job being wordy and specific. Actually, wait. We just send them the array, huh? Do you ever feel like a fraud? Okay, so this is your question. From WinCG69. Did you ever feel like a fraud when learning game dev? You're making a small Godot game, but you rely heavily on tutorials and sometimes copy code almost line by line because you don't know how to implement things like health systems yourself. How did you balance using tutorials, actually learning, and not doubting yourself all the time? I think doubting yourself all the time is not optional. I think doubt is one of the most critical elements of learning that one has. It's both critical at the beginning and it's critical at the end. Because it keeps you from getting to a point where you're like, oh, I think I know everything. I think I know better. But I get what you mean. I don't think you're doing anything wrong. But how did I balance using tutorials, actually learning, and not doubting yourself all the time? I don't do tutorials. I don't like tutorials. But it serves the same purpose, which is you need to have a question. You need to have a problem you're actually trying to solve. And then whether you just read the docs for like 3 hours and try stuff, or you watch a tutorial on YouTube and just do it the way they do it. The doubt is crucial, because we were talking about the other day, I actually did watch a tutorial to try to figure out how to like load CSV files into Godot, and the tutorial was wrong. And the tutorial was recent, but it was still wrong. So yeah, you need that doubt, because you can't just believe what the tutorial person's saying. So yeah, I wouldn't try to get rid of that doubt. But you do need to learn how to live with it. And that can be hard. That can be hard. But yeah, actually learning, I think, is the important part, which is trying to make something. Just try to make a game. Just join a game jam. And yeah, nobody cares. Nobody cares what the code looks like. So don't worry about what the code looks like under the hood. You know, as long as the stuff you're copying, you know, is publicly available, blah, blah, blah. Copying the code is okay, because you know what? It's not going to work, because their use case is different than your use case. So the code you copy just won't work straight up. Or it will work for a while, and then you'll try to change something, and then it doesn't work anymore. And so then you have to figure out how the code actually works, and then figure out how you can change it, and then you'll probably end up just rewriting it. What's important is just finishing it. Learn and move on to the next one, you guess. Yes. Yeah, do not get stuck working on a game that is not working for you or for players or for whatever. Just finish it. Learn what you're going to get, what you're going to get from it. Make peace with that, and then move on to the next project. And that's how you'll learn. People generally improve in between doing things. Or that's not right. You generally notice your improvement in between doing things. So like you're learning a ton on this one project. You aren't going to notice that until you move on to the next project. And it's not really going to be useful or noticeable until you've done that, until you've moved on to the next thing. And you'll be like, wow, look at everything I've learned and how much I know how to do now. And then you'll just keep doing that over and over again. Yeah, don't get stuck in tutorial hell. Don't get stuck being like, I gotta learn the right way to do it. I'm gonna call this something else. I'm gonna say mark, target, character, figures. Should I do some converting first from the name to the figure? I probably should. Here, that's what we'll do. We'll say variable. We'll say compatible figures is another array of character figs. And we'll say for compatible character in say comp figs dot append It's a little roundabout, but again, I would like to not have the lower level things really need to care about all of this. They need to know their domain and not worry about others' domains. I prefer that. These things should just stay in their lane. All right, take it easy, Sapphire. Rhiannon, 20 plus years of programming, you still deal with imposter syndrome and doubt. Yeah. It's definitely good to learn theory, especially around design. But in terms of like implementation, I think it's hard to learn without just doing. Obviously, it helps. It's like if you're a programmer and unit data structure is great. If you're a designer and you understand UI, UX, even better. But it's like you don't really... I don't know. I've never been particularly good at anything. And school didn't really teach me very much. I did not do a lot of school. I did not like academic stuff. I think I would love it now that I'm like more chilled out. And, you know, not an idiot kid anymore. Now I'm an idiot adult. I think I would like school. But the one thing I learned from school was how to learn. And really, that's the most important thing. You have to, and I think that's a thing that's hard for people nowadays, including me. I think it's hard to sit with a problem, not know what to do next, and be able to stick to it. And to be able to evaluate what's going wrong, and to dig into it, and to debug, and to question assumptions, and to just put in that work. I think that's really hard. Problem solving, that's it. That's the only real skill I think you absolutely need to develop to be able to achieve anything. The other stuff you'll just pick up along the way. The other stuff is like domain-specific knowledge. But like, that's the thing I see when people are like looking for shortcuts, or you know, they're just gonna ask ChatGPT. I think that's a hard skill to develop today, is problem solving. I think the world we live in discourages the kind of environment and the kind of mental modes that you need to be in to do problem solving. And I think that's the real danger of, you know, this agentification bullshit. You know, Bond just, you know, further destroying our already wrecked world. End rant. All right, so we have this new battle map function that is underneath. Where even am I? I am on the battle map layer. Where's the function I just wrote? Oh no, did I write neither of these yet? What are the functions I just added? Oh, party roster, find compatible equipment wielders. Okay. Okay, the direct to, I can jump to the function directly now. That's good. Func. Find compatible equipment wielders. I forget what's, I think just the card res gets passed. It's going to be an equip card res. And it's going to return an array of string names. Variable result. We'll say compatible characters. Just declare an empty variable or an empty array. Just return this array. And so what we really care about is whether these are, firstly, we care about whether they're armor or weapons. We'll say if card res is an armor card res, we'll do one thing. We'll return, well, pass. We'll say else, we'll say elif card res is a weapon card res. Do this. Yeah, no worries. Good luck. Take it easy. Have a good night. Appreciate your question. Good luck in your journey. We have a Discord if you need help, or you want to share the kind of stuff you're working on. Idscord. Discord. Good luck in your journey. As bleak as the industry is right now, I'm still of the opinion that it's never been a better time to make games. I don't know, it's not never been a better time to, you know, get a job in the industry, but it's certainly never been a better time to make games. There's so many good tools. There's so much information out there. It's different than talking about, you know, profitability and all that stuff. That's not what I'm talking about. All right, and now do I have a simple way of asking a character whether a character can wield a weapon? I think I would like something like that. Here, let's say something like, oh, and if I do this, actually, I don't even need to care. I can actually say, func can character equip. Well, let's say, is character equip compatible? We'll send in the card res. Let's say it's an equip card res. And it's just a bool. And then we can push this down here. I'm really trying to push as much of the behavior as far down as possible. And then you're just orchestrating it and asking it and seeing how you're doing. Hey, Strivent. Yeah, you joined straight into ads. Sorry about that. Unlucky. An unlucky result. We'll say if card res is armor, card res we'll say return how did I say this? Is it proficiencies? No, it's like armor profs. Armor profs. Oh, that's part of your res. So we need to say return character res dot armor dot proficient armor dot has card res dot proficiency required. Super easy. We'll say elif card res. Well, we can just say else for now. We can say else. No, let's say elif. Elif card res is here. Let's say variable equip compatible is a bool, and it's false. We can say equip compatible is this. We can say a card res is instead a weapon card res. We'll say equip compatible equals character res dot proficiency weapon dot has card res dot proficiency required. We can add level requirements and stuff later, but I'm not going to do that right now. Whether the equipment is compatible. That's fine. Now it's push down. Just the person who knows the deets. We go up to party roster. And then party roster. Find compatible equipment wielders. So we don't care here. What we're going to do is we're just going to we can say 4. You don't know all of this stuff, do you? You know your names, though. We can say for character and party characters. This is a character sheet. can say if party character dot is character equipment compatible with the card res, and we can append compatible characters dot append party character. Oh, this isn't supposed to be a character sheet. This is supposed to be a string name, a character name. Actually, not character name. We need to say party characters, character name. So that's how we look them up. And we append this character name. And then we return the name of all of those characters. Easy. You're looking at it with fresh eyes. You put so much into it. It's really cool. Oh, thank you. Especially, you know, since I'm not actually running any of this right now. We're doing this is kind of a refactor day. I appreciate saying that. Been working on it for less than a month. Feels good. It feels like good progress for a month, but time can just fly if we start to get, we start to rabbit hole into things too much. This feels like that, but I know that a refactor now, before we get too far, is going to save me a ton of time in the long run. But how are you doing? Okay, so we got all of this. We can find compatible equipment wielders. We can preview a new party member. I think the next thing we're going to eventually need to do is how to accept a new party member. Accept a new party member. Take the card name and the card res. Actually, we also want to know the card. What we really need to do when we accept a new card, we want to know a number of things. We want to know the token. Oh, let's wait. Let's wait on that then. Let's wait on that. We're still going through some back and forth here. I don't think I can just run it right now because now we've actually got some parallel behavior going, and I think that would break things. Maybe not. We're going to get to a point here really quickly when the two systems start to conflict with each other. But maybe not, because they're supposed to have identical behavior. Some things I want to do is I want to remove some awkward things like this. Like when you select, it resets things. It should know that you're clicking on the same thing that you've already selected and not do stuff like that. But there is some stuff I just want to clean up. Like if you have your character sheet open. Oh, did I change that? Your character sheet open. Oh, you closed that now. I love that. Okay, this doesn't happen though. That should happen. If we open this should close. I'll have a signal. Let's do that. Let's make a signal for that. That's actually something I want to track. You're procrastinating. I feel it. I feel it. In the long run, that will be devastating. But I feel it. Do I care? I guess we might as well, because it doesn't really matter. Character sheet opens. Do I want to trigger that every time we do this? Maybe. I might want to do that actually, in which case we actually don't. Character sheet open. Shouldn't we need to know who the character is? Okay, I have to think about that a little more. We have to fix this a little bit more before I can add that in. You need to make an area 2D root. Recede on key press and crawl back after a timer. Started trying this thing where you write what you want to happen logically in plain English and then go line by line to try to translate it into code. Okay, that doesn't sound that bad. My instinct would be to do that with tweens. Tween a property like the size of the area or something. Which means it can both wait a period of time since tweens can be like, can await signals or await timers and stuff. And they can lerp properties really easily. It's good. Processor chaos, you're proud of yourself. You didn't push your opinions about tutorials. I'm currently your office background noise simulator. That's me. Simulating noise. Yeah, everyone has their own opinion about tutorials. I take a pretty negative opinion about them, but not because they're bad, just because they don't work for me. Which is, you know, maybe one of the reasons why I struggled in school. I don't like other people trying to explain to me how something works. I kind of just need to dig in and try stuff. Which means I learn very slowly and very inefficiently. But when I do learn something, I know it very intimately. And I think that's a good model. That's a good kind of learning, but it's obviously not the only one. And it obviously has an incredibly high cost. Right, I don't know what I'm doing at this point. Let's see. Not to, you know, restart a rant that you were proudly, you know, resisted the urge of piling in on. All right, so I think player hand card dragged is taken care of. I think. So when the player hand gets dragged, we mark that for the battle map. I don't love this. I don't think I want to do this. I think I want to be more precise than this. But we do want to clear the card preview and close the roster. If it's a hero card, if this hero card doesn't exist. Oh, you know what? If it does exist, we want to mark it. And so we actually are going to want to do that. We'll say else. So if we know we already have this character, then what we want to do is we want to say battle map. We'll just send it with one. We'll say battle map dot mark target character figs, not chair figs, hair figs. And we want to create an array of character names. No, character figs, character IDX. We're just making it an array so that it follows the same path as the plural one here. Okay, so I do want to do that. The party roster thing doesn't act except to close. Yeah, I don't love this battle map.card dragged thing. There's one more case. So we need to tell, in this case, we still need to tell the battle map. We need to say, if I want to be precise, I need to tell the battle map to watch out in the deployment area for a card. How do I want to tell that? You have to say you're not a big fan because many of them are made by non-experts. Those made by experts can be good. Yeah, I think it depends on the field, obviously. Like if I need to learn about math, I watch 3 blue, 1 brown or whatever. I think that's his name. Like there's definitely people I do listen to. But I don't know. I see that as being different than a tutorial. Maybe there's a distinction there. Maybe there isn't. Hey, Jacob. But yeah, my scapegoat, my straw man for this is that I tried to watch a tutorial recently, and while the solution the tutorial maker used was valid, it was inefficient to say the least. And I was able to find a better one by just Google searching. So it's one of those. So whatever, tutorials, they're fine. I stand by my core statement, which is the only skill that you really need to develop, the only core skill you really need to have is the ability and the willingness to solve hard problems. Like, that's the muscle. That's the real muscle underlying all of this is like, can you sit with the discomfort of not knowing what to do next and to have a hard problem and to just sit through it and figure it out and not give up? And if you develop that skill, that will separate you from 90% of anyone who's trying to do anything. I think that's core. Do you want to see the super secret LDG jam entry? You don't have to play? Sure. If it's super secret, I assume I shouldn't show it on stream. Doesn't matter. Okay. Did you make this yourself? By yourself? It says by Jacob Dev, so I think so. Ooh. Ooh, I love this. These tubes coming out of this brain. That's horrifying. Your itch page is already off to a great start. Oh, this looks slick. Oh, I saw that. I saw the camera. I saw what the camera did there. That was clever. This looks good. This looks good. These assets are sweet. I love the spiraling UI thing here. Whatever this is, like a boost or something. Or energy, or I don't know what. Speed, maybe? It says dot speed. This looks slick. I'll have to play this later. When are we going to stop making games with Unity, Jacob? I know it's hard. But you don't have to live like this. No, this looks great. Brain cycle. Break out of cyber jail, nerd. You're so efficient with it. It's a local maximum, though. It's not a global maximum. It's a local maximum. You've reached the local maximum of Unity. And that's great. I get it. You got to climb back down the mountain and start heading up a bigger mountain. I'm just messing with you. I know you have projects that you need to finish up in Unity, but seriously, next time you start a new project, just think about it. Think about it. Think about the better world you could be living in. Think about the better world we could all be living in. This looks really slick, though. How long is this jam? 2 weeks or something? This looks really good. I love the little bar at the top. I love the little compass thing. This is good stuff. This is good stuff. I'm going to play this later. I'm going to save that so I don't lose the tab. If you have problems with the code, feel free to drop it in the get help channel on the Discord. Happy to look at it. Yeah, formatting on Twitch is rough. It looks really cool. I think you're overestimating how hard it is to pick up Godot. As someone who used Unity for 15 years and then switched to Godot a few years ago, I think you can get fully up to speed with Godot in about 6 months. Maybe less if you use it aggressively. I think you could do it in 3. I think you could take 1 season and learn how to use Godot and reach the level of skill that you're at with Unity currently. I bet you could do it in 3. If you have a lot of shared code base, and I know some people moved over with a huge code base they wanted to save, you can do that too. Just look at Sorcery Story. She was able to salvage like 98% of her code base. All she had to do was swap out the parts that referenced like Unity APIs. The only downside is you would be waiting for them to fix C# web uploads. And I will give you I will issue you an indulgence to remain on Unity, at least until they fix that, but you should start learning now. No, you have a Steam release. You have a Steam release that you need to do. What are you even doing game jamming? I'm just kidding. I'm just lashing out because I want to do game jams right now, and I can't. I can't because I told myself I won't. That is the right use Strivent. I don't know the specifics about Sorcery's journey, but the way she's characterized it is that it was not hard. It was not hard. I mean, Mega Crit remade Slay the Spire 2 in 1 month, right? From Unity to Godot. And Slay the Spire 2 is a pretty big game. And they were able to port it over in 1 month. It was admittedly not as finished as it is now, because they did that like a few years ago, but still, you can imagine. Yeah, it was 1 month. Is what I was told. I don't know. I don't know if that's actually true, but that's what I was told. I think it was earlier in development. I was told it third hand. It's not like I know Anthony Giovanetti. It's not like wishes come true. Not to denigrate the other dev whose name escapes me right now. The artist. I should look him up. I should not know that. Casey Yano. Their team's pretty big now, I guess. Their team's like 10 people now. Pretty impressive. Your game is great. What are you talking about? Fabled Footy. Take the soccer world by storm. You might join a game jam by yourself like you suggested? Yes, do it. What do you do when stopping dev work for the day to keep your spot? You commit. You commit a git. You do a git commit. This is what you do. Don't not do this. Before you either stop working on something or move on to something else, please do a git commit. I got absolutely burned by that this week. I did not do that, and then I created this kind of corrupt game state of the main menu, and I had to manually go through and figure out what I had done, and I had to roll back parts of the code, all because I didn't commit before moving on to something else. But yeah, no, how do you mentally pick up the context that you had when you stopped working? The obvious thing to do is to not stop until you've finished the feature, but that's not practical, right? So I don't know. I would say that you're allowed to leave code comments in unfinished pieces of code, but that's super dangerous. So I don't know if I would do that. I do try to leave off at like an intuitive point, but yeah, I don't know. I actually don't know the answer to that. I think that's a good question. Dangerous? Leaving comments in code is dangerous. Because code remains up to date, but there's nothing keeping a comment up to date. There's a reason I don't have comments in my code, and it does make life hard. But that's partly why I do these refactors. So like the first time I do a feature, it'll look like an absolute nightmare. I keep the code around usually for a while just so I can go back and look at it. Like if we look at like this initial version of on-card token added, which actually takes a lot of code from somewhere else and pops it in here. This is like super long and it's incredibly wordy. Like this is one thing. Like this is like all of these steps are all the steps in the function here, which is just preview new party member. So it's like you start out with a really rough thing, but then you should encapsulate it in something. I'm also not an OOP stan, so don't take what I'm saying in that way. But it's like, I do actually believe that it's good to start abstracting it out and to create a higher level, a higher ordered evaluation here where you can be like, okay, if I do this, we want to do this series of things. Otherwise, we do this series of things, rather than like having it super low level and having it incredibly verbose of like, here's all the individual steps and all the crazy nitpicky like little changes you need to make it implement. So that, in answer to your question, the way I do that is I try to collect together a large set of individual things and turn it into like an abstract discrete step that I can reason about. And then it's easier for me to come back and be like, oh, we were attempting to do this thing. Here's where we're at in the actual implementation of doing that thing. That's just how I make it make sense to myself and not get lost in like 1,000 lines of code of like an incredibly Byzantine process that does all of these things. You leave an open Trello card, that could work. That could work processor chaos. That's not bad. You wanted to stop manually commenting out code for testing, and for some reason your first instinct was to mod Godot to create a shortcut instead of looking to see if there was one. That's funny. It's not insight. I don't have insight. I'm actually not very good at this. But I'll tell you what I do. Be skeptical. Yeah, Control K is good. Control K is good. Control K is your friend. All right. So we're doing this. We're doing this. There was another case that I needed to capture. Oh, we need to tell the battle map to do something in this case while we preview the new party member. We also need to tell the battle map. We need to say like battle map. So the mark target care figs is how we are going to mark areas for spots where we can turn cards into tokens, meaning we can place cards onto an existing character figure. However, this case is before that character figure exists. So what we need to tell the battle map instead is for it to like watch for a new character figure in the deployment zone. How do I want to tell it to do that? Because I don't want to just do this battlemap.cardDragged, which is how I've been doing it in the past. It's just like a simple reference where it's like, start doing this other set of things where you monitor slightly differently. I want to be a little more targeted. So mark target character figs is good because this can actually just tell it to watch for. This can actually tell it to watch out for these. This, let's say battlemap.mark character deployment zone or something like that. Bounds. Which is slightly different. It's gonna make slightly different. because we're marking an area and not a figure. And in this case, what we're going to do is we are going to send it. What do we want to tell it? Because once an area, a target or an area has been marked, now the battle map knows what to listen for, and it knows precisely not what to listen for. So I guess it's the card is what we need, maybe. Maybe not though. You know, we might not actually need to tell it anything, because we already know what the bounds are. So yeah, we're just going to get rid of that concept. Yeah. No, you want to continue. It's like someone else was talking about, like, how do you get over, like, the doubt that you don't know what you're doing? And it's like, you want to keep that. Don't actually let go of that. I mean, you need to learn how to live with it, but, like, you should always be skeptical. You should always be in, like, a learning mindset and always be deeply skeptical of your processes and workflows, because that's the only way you're going to get better. As soon as you think you know what you're doing, that's when you stop improving. Which is fine. You don't always need to be improving. Sometimes you need to just be executing. All right, so let's go make some of these new functions here. So we've got mark character deployment bounds, and we have mark target character figures. I made this one already, preview new party member. And that's all we need there. So let's go make these battle map functions. So once these are marked, that's going to be the signal to do some listening here instead of just this card dragged thing. We're going to get rid of this concept. We'll pass this. Func, mark, target, character, figs. Character figs, it already exists. Let's say targets. Maybe target figs. Oh, character fix, not a type. The Dunning-Kruger effect. I have been told that I misuse that. I don't bring up that anymore. I don't bring that effect up anymore. People get really nitpicky about that, but yeah. I think from a if you don't look at it too closely, yes. Or if you don't interpret it too strictly, yes. The answer is yes. Okay, so the battle map has a bunch of its own signals that are going to signal back that something has happened based on the things that we're monitoring. So like if we've marked something, then we know we need to listen for these and these. Well, or we might be omitting these. But now we can clean up this process function. Because right now this process function is doing way too much. It's like, oh, are we this? Are we that? If we're that, then that. That's why I like constraining its attention. Should I store these somewhere? Let's say targets. Variable figure targets. array, character fig. I might hate that later. All right, so if we are marking the deployment bounds, we can dive into here and just grab part of this. So if we don't have this, we know we don't have this, we do this. This is it. This is part of a marking dependency. Well, this is part of marking dependencies. This actually isn't. This isn't the evaluation. How do we actually... Is it really just this? Limit corners dot visible. Say variable. we'll give it something to actually watch for, and not just a property on something. I would like to have a single way of handling this, but we're not going to do that. Like, I would like to be able to handle the bounds the same way, like when we're watching a deployment for an area as we are for a specific thing. Deployment corners, that's what I call them. That's dumb. Oh, I guess that's not that dumb. Yeah, we'll watch that. And now we're going to mark specific characters here. So we'll say figure targets equals targets. And then what do we want to do? So then now we want to mark them. Where do I do that? Hey, XFC. Not sure what you're talking about. You're talking about what you're looking at right now? Yeah, this is the Godot editor. Titan, you were wondering what was taking photos in the middle of the night. Turns out it was lightning. Oh, big flashes of lightning. That's cool. We don't really get that here. We don't really get big thunderstorms or anything here, which is, you know, a blessing, obviously, but... All right, where do I do the actual marking? I don't remember. Oh, we do it on card entered? Card dragged? When do we actually do this? Where are my examples of this? Oh, here it is. Bounded tiles. So we just need to know where all of these characters are. That's easy. That is not hard. So we will say... Store these. Clear that. And then we'll say for target in... We can do this at the bottom. I wonder if I actually want to track these. I probably do. For target in targets. And target is a character figure. We want gonna set this bounded tiles.set cell target tile map 0 inbound outbound. Okay, that should handle some of this stuff. So then this section can be trimmed down tremendously. I'm not going to do it quite yet, though. I'm gonna see if there's any more we should orchestrate from above here. This is refactor day, which I do like doing refactors on stream because it's like very clear what I'm trying to do. It's like pretty easy to execute on. This is a lot though. We basically had two parallel systems, or systems at what I would consider fairly equal levels of abstraction here. They were directly talking to each other, and I found that problematic. So now we're moving the orchestration part up a level. And then so these two things don't really need to know about the rest of the system. They just signal up and then get called down by their orchestrator. Rather than them having to know how their opposite works and know how to interface directly, that's bad, and that creates some really tight coupling, which is not going to be good in the long run. So that's why we're doing this. But this is, I think, all we need to do when a card has been dragged. I guess the next thing to do is to get the battle map to react correctly, because the party roster is very straightforward. The party roster, when a card gets dragged, all it needs to do, well, is close most of its stuff, but the rest of the only other thing it needs to do is potentially preview a new party member. In only that case. Actually, do we want to wait to do that? Do we want to wait to do that until we have a card token created? The answer is maybe. I think the answer is a strong maybe. I'm gonna double check this function. At least the rain will cool the air a bit. 32C was way too warm. Yeah, I'm hearing about just how crazy the heat wave is right now in a number of places, but especially in Europe, it's really bad, I know. And then also in kind of the center and kind of southeast kind of part of the country here. It's not great right now. I live like, I can like see the ocean. I live very close to the water here, and it's usually really nice. But even here, it's like a little warm, You accidentally figured out how to do a bar that you'd have to tap a key to fill up quickly or it empties. Nice. That's fun. That'll be good for, that's a classic controller scheme thing, is like a rapidly tap to fill thing. That's cool. And that's why you kind of just need to dig in. That's kind of why you just need to hands-on learn, is that's how you figure stuff out, really. You know what's an obstructor to learning, which is something that I learned recently, which is that the brain has an easier time remembering how to find information than it does remembering information. It's easier for the brain to recall the steps that you took to figure out a piece of information than it is to recall the information itself. And so I think that's kind of one of the problems with a very hands-off, like you learn things through theory or whatever. Because it means when you're like, how do I do this thing? You'll be like, well, I could go into the book and look here and it was probably written there. Or I could recreate this Google search that I did before to find it. And I think that's why it's hard to get stuff to really stick in your brain from doing it. Is your brain is trying to optimize around it and be like, well, we don't actually want to remember how to do that. We just want to remember how to find the information on how to do that. Your brain does caching. It does a lot of caching. All right, I'm getting distracted. I'm distracting myself. I blame no one. Okay, yeah, I do want to wait. I do want to wait on doing this. We don't want to do this here. We want to do this up. Actually, not up. Yeah, up here. On battle map, card token added. This is what we want. This is where we want to do it. So, what does a card token know? Card token knows what its card is. That's good. That's useful information. So we'll say variable card res is a base card res, and it equals card token dot card data. Okay, so I've lost a little of the specificity that I had before with this, a little. This makes sense though from a flow standpoint, what we're doing here. And then here, now we'll say, we might want the card name actually as well. Card name, string name equals card res dot card name. We also might want to know the card. Why would we want to know the card? There's no reason at this point why would we want to know the card. Okay, so we can do this. Now we're going to do another, unfortunately, we're going to do another match to figure out what kind of card it is. That's okay. Say match card res. I hope this works. I hope this works. I don't know if a match card res is the same as asking if card res is. I'm not sure this is going to evaluate the same way, but if it doesn't, we'll just turn it into an if statement. I don't quite know enough about the inner workings of Godot to know if it'll type match like that. Your brain is fried. You can't debug it all today. Yeah, I feel that, Arneo. Heat is a brutal thing for the brain to try to absorb and handle. So we'll do it this way. We'll say we need a similar thing. Oh, we actually only care about the card name on this branch again. I know that much. I know that much. So we basically need to do this same check. That's not what I wanted. I wanted to say party roster dot preview new party member, card name, card res. And then if it's not unique, if it's just a piece of equipment. Oh, if it's a piece of equipment, we actually want to do a bunch of stuff. Or if it's not unique, we also want to do a bunch of stuff. If it's not unique and it's been added, then we know the token is over a hero that is compatible with it. So we actually want to know that. Does a card token know where it is? Yes, no, it doesn't. It should. Very much should. I don't know why it doesn't. Yeah, a card token absolutely needs to know where it is. Variable tile map. Vector 2i. It also needs to be updated though, but that's fine. That's easy to do. Let's say tile map equals map position. So we can say else, and now we can scrutinize. We can scrutinize where this is, I think. We can say battle map. We can say like get character figure at tile map. And we'll pass in tile map. How do we know? Oh no, we know because card token dot tile map is something we have access to. Say variable character figure is a character fig. It equals. We're gonna say get character figure at. Just keep that short and simple. And then so if we know that, we know who's there. Now we want to do something like open the party roster and preview something. We want to say open the party roster, and now we want to do this branch. I'm going to call this I want to distinguish between adding a new party member from just playing a card on an existing party member, and I need to come up with like a name for that. I'm going to call it preview party member sup. That's what we're doing, like supplementing the party member. And then for that, all I really need to do is know the name and the res. This. It should be okay. Hey, Flare the Bird, making a roguelike deck builder in Godot. Samesies? Hell yeah. What's yours about? Mine is about, a sorcery story enjoyer. We were talking about her earlier. She's great. Thanks for the follow. Yeah, what kind of stuff are you working on? We're working on a roguelike deck builder where you draft an RPG party called Party Wipe. Rhiannon, you know this person? You know this degenerate? No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to presume. It's a roguelike deck builder where you pet critters with cards and defeat capitalism. That sounds great. That sounds great. I would love to follow along with that one's development. That sounds like a fun time. I feel like you should have to... I wonder if you should have to specify a character sheet when you open a character sheet. So I don't love this. I don't love this. Maybe I do that. Character sheet. Character sheet. Encapsulate this a little bit. That's more in line with how we do a close. It's definitely way more in line with how we do close. Character button. Dot visible equals true. Character sheet. Dot visible equals true. Selected character equals character sheet. I think this is good. That breaks a bunch of uses of this, but that's fine. Yeah, so let's do this. Let's say selected character dot preview XP gain. Let's instead say character sheets. How do I... Oh, we call them party members here, don't we? Party members. What do I fucking call this? Party characters. Great. I need to be more consistent. I like party members better. No, party characters. We're going to just replace it with party members. I'm sure I'm not going to regret that later. So party members, card name, excuse me. So we won't do that here. Instead, we'll say. I wonder if I should have to pass a name. I wonder if I should have to pass this. I guess I want to know that we have this first. That's fine. Do that. I might regret this particular order, but let's move the character sheet open to the bottom. That's better. Oh, we're heading back into ads soon. Hold on to your ads. Hey, Magoo, how are you? Flare, the mechanical twist is that your deck doesn't reshuffle until you reach certain points on the map. Interesting. Interesting. We're good. We're good. This is kind of a refactor day. We're kind of pausing new stuff right now while we try to figure out some other stuff. All right. All right. We're heading into stuff is going to start breaking territory here because I just refactored a function. I don't know why I'm bothering with this. This is very temporary. All right, take it easy, Flare. Oh, I don't know if you're leaving. You just said you were tired and sleepy. Hey, Rhiannon, Twisted Grove. Ooh, is that the game? Oh, Twitch is upset. Oh, look at this. Ooh. Befriend your enemies. This is adorable. Okay, you got like kind of an Undertale kind of thing going on here. Maybe. Where it's like, yeah, non-violent roguelike deck builder about befriending critters in a magical forest. Oh, that's fun. Assemble unique decks, pet, compliments, smooch your way to the heart of corrupted flora and fauna, and dismantle the capitalist systems tearing down the grove. Love it. I like the card interaction stuff. I ended up just getting a plugin for that. How'd you do all your card stuff? Like handling cards and everything. I like this. I like the hex board. I like the hex board movement stuff. Click on an adjacent tile to move there. That's neat. Can you backtrack? Or is it like you always have to move forward? I really like whatever this is. This is a really clever way to do this. Pet, 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 belly rub. That's very funny. Longuary. Very exciting. Oh my god, this peacock character. Like crazy. Oh, it's very cute. This is very exciting. I'm very interested in this. You gotta make a real one someday? No, you don't. You don't. Just do the Derek Liu style trailer. Just do like a 60-second trailer that mostly just shows gameplay and you're fine. Okay, I like this better. What are you complaining about? Character sheet open. Oh no, is there a member variable named character sheet? Shit. Oh, well, duh. That should be a const. Anyway. Show me this, show me this. Where is this? Character sheet. I don't know why that didn't do like this. Get rid of this. See where that breaks. You can't backtrack, but you move sideways and get curse cards. Cool. Oh, I like that. I like that. You can share, but it's C#, so no makes. No. I don't need to use it. We use the simple cards plugin, which gives us a lot of really nice behavior. I'm just curious if you made it, and it sounds like you did, and that's rad. All right, so actually what we should do is we should emit that signal. Character sheet opened. Character sheet. Oh, character sheet opened dot emit. I'm not quite sure who needs to know that, but we might as well. We might as well. Signal, character sheet closed. I actually don't know who needs this either, but we're gonna just start. I like signaling. I like providing points where people can hook in if they need to know. Actually, we don't want to know what character sheet closed. I don't think. I don't think we need to know. Maybe we need to know? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what we need to know. You don't know what you don't know. Yeah, there's no plugins in the game at all. Nice. You don't even use the Godot tweening. You have a system for that? That's crazy. You don't know. You didn't know Godot when you started working on it, and the Godot tween system annoyed you, so you just wrote it. I get it. I get it. Oh, that's what you were talking about when I made the right choice? The fact that I just used a card plugin and didn't have to spend months making my own card plugin or my own card mechanic system. Yeah, I feel like that was a good choice. But I also feel like, you know, what Flare did was a good choice. Everyone's circumstances are unique, and there's no reason to like prescriptively there's no reason to prescriptively tell people what they should or shouldn't do. And I don't think we use the word proscribe anymore. I think the last time we used that word was describing Sulla's proscriptions. Which is a little old. All right, card token dot setup card dragged. Why is this busted? What did I do to bust this? Oh, I eliminated card dragged. That's no longer a signal. Interesting. All right, time to start. It's time to start messing with this stuff then. So the way I did this then, so we're signaling up plenty. Variable character fig equals battlemap.characterfig at. Oh, we need to finish this. On battlemap card token added. Character name, party roster, preview new party number. Character fig equals character fig, battlemap.get character fig at. Okay, so we got the character fig. We want to know the character index. Is character figs dot find character fig. That's probably fine. Oh, we already know the character index. Hell yeah. Okay, never mind. Then why do I need to know the character fig? I don't actually, do I? Or, yeah, I guess I... Well... Now I'm confused. On battlemap card token added. Card res, card name. The token we've added. I guess the card... If the card is a hero card... Oh, if the card is a hero card, I know all of these things already. So do I actually not need to know this then? Because I already know. Okay. I mean, maybe I'll need this function later, but I guess we don't currently need it because I actually know... I know this already. So... Once I know that, what I want to do is I want to say party roster. I want to open that character sheet for character sheets, character index. Actually, can I just say party roster dot preview party member supplement? Do I need to know? Okay, I know the card name. That's easy. Do I need the card res? Also easy. Huh. Okay, I wrote a function I don't think I need, so that's fine. I guess I want that function for when we start adding equipment card tokens. I guess I do need to know that. Wait, do you have some exported dictionaries from your scripts? Did they add that? Maybe. You can definitely have... Nowadays, you can have strictly typed dictionaries, and I actually use exported strictly typed dictionaries a lot. Not here, but... Like, here? Yeah, base card layout. So, like, this knows all of the card level borders. It's pretty neat. It's pretty neat. If you fuck up the script, you have to redo the dictionaries, but it's a nice way to quickly configure things visually. I don't know when they added that. Strictly typed dictionaries is pretty new, though. I think that might be 4.5 or something. Yeah, what Godot version are you on? Flare. I believe it. Believe me, Flare. My last game, we spent a year and a half working on a somewhere between an auto tiler and a block editor tool. It's most of what we did for like over a year. For a game that's now paused, so I get it. Part of the motivation for the way I'm working on this game was to treat it like a long game jam, which means not doing things like strictly correctly, just kind of like emphasizing momentum and like the economics of like my time over almost anything else, which has led to some interesting choices for sure. Like I've cut a lot in service of that, but subtractive design is my favorite kind of design. So all right, so if it's a new character, we preview the new party member. If it's a existing character, we preview what it would look like to supplement the party member. And supplementing the party member is involved in opening the character sheet and then previewing the XP gain of adding that card. It's reasonable. You're on 4.6? Oh, I'm also on 4.6. Don't worry about it. Sometimes you don't notice the new things they put in. Me either. Me either. We usually look over the... There hasn't been a killer feature for me since Tile Map Layer in 4.3, but I do like strictly typed dictionaries. I do like a good strictly typed dictionary. They don't let you have strictly typed nested containers, which is, I guess, fine. But I would use that if they had that as well. But yeah, that's awesome, Flair. I know you're probably in other Discords and stuff, but I would love to follow along with the development of your game. Help? Hey, Charles the Ninth. How's it going? What do you need help with? Similarly, we do have a Get Help channel in our Discord if it's something more involved. If it's an easy question, I might be able to help you now. If it's not, I won't, but feel free. Flair, all your rich text labels still automatically add center to the text because when you started, the rich text label didn't have the horizontal alignment feature. Yeah, that's classic. It's always the case of like you have to roll your own thing because when you started, the engine didn't support it, and then the engine eventually supports it, and you're like, well. Sunk cost says we just got to keep doing what we're doing. I kind of want to discard and deal function. But who cares? Okay, so we got hand card dragged. We're doing this in order. So the first thing a player does is they drag a card, and that activates a bunch of stuff on the battle map. Then, like a bunch of deployment zones and areas where the card can be dropped. Then, when the card reaches an area it could be dropped, it turns into a token. Which is like, it acknowledges the fact that the card is in kind of a limbo state where the transaction might be canceled and the card needs to be pulled back into the hand, or the transaction can be fulfilled, in which case the token is exchanged for either a figure or for an equipment slot on a figure. And so we're at that point in this refactor of the card has been moved over a figure that would be valid, so it can switch into a token mode. When it's turned into a token, we have a signal that goes out. And now we're interpreting that here, and we're interpreting it just for hero cards. I think I need to disconnect some stuff. Yeah, please come back and hang out with us on this, our deck builder journey here. Appreciate you stopping by, Flair. And thanks for coming in. Charles the Great here. Let me know. Let me know if we can be of assistance here. Yeah, I think it's time to start disconnecting things. That's disconnected. This is not disconnected. We want to disconnect this. These are all connected. We want to disconnect these. Disconnect all of these. Character fig added. Why isn't that? Why don't I have that? Card token added. Character figure added. I definitely want to know about this. Let's connect that. Here are all their signal ups. That should be everything. Actually, I wonder if you need to know this. One player hand card dragged. One player hand card dragged. I feel like someone else is taking care of this now. player hand card drag, party roster dot character sheet dot close, clear card preview. This should be the same as that function down there. It is. Okay, so we can disconnect this signal as well. Definitely be easier if I did this in a way where everything is just signaled from the bottom up and just taken care of by whoever's interested. But yeah, it's unfortunate that kind of the layering, the input layers of all the UI elements and then the battle map itself is making that hard. With specifically the card plugin, the need for a playmat to detect when cards are dropped is unfortunate. But actually, is there a way around that? No, I don't think so. I for a moment thought I perceived a way where if we put the playmat, if we made the battle map a playmat, that maybe could work. But I don't think it actually could work because if character figures and stuff could act as buttons, that would hide the playmat. And we'd still run into the same problem. Just a slightly different version of the playmat. We trying to detect if a card is dropped on a specific level. No, not really. I was wondering if I could. We have a playmat that knows when cards are dropped. Yeah, that would be neat, but that's not exactly the way that this plugin is written to work. So we're not gonna fuck around with it. We're working around it by doing a bit more of a top-down approach, but I prefer the bottom-up approach. Godot makes it really easy to just do everything with signals and to just be like, oh, if you're interested in this, just connect to this signal and then just do what you need to do. Well, what we're doing instead is we're signaling up a little farther and then calling back down to the thing that would have otherwise directly hooked into the signal. And that's okay. That's okay too. It's not the way I prefer it, but you make a compromise when you accept a plugin. Okay, this isn't gonna run because the function don't know about this. Oh, I have to rewrite this whole thing. This whole thing is not gonna work. So what does a card token want to know about when it's set up? Oh, it wants to know about its tile map position. Like, it's just easier if you're able to keep things further down that just listen for signals and respond directly and stuff. You're able to, it's easier to do single responsibility, to maintain single responsibility amongst each of the, components. And life is just better when you do that. So I'm still trying to maintain that, but the compromise I'm making is there's this higher level orchestrator. It's okay. It's okay. It's not ideal, but it's all right. So you want to know your tile map. That's easy. Will you stop yelling at me if I tell you what that is? Okay. This function is going to potentially cause us a lot of problems. Oh, but card drag will never be true. So actually, maybe it's okay for now. So I don't want that to happen. So the cursor thing is doing a thing. I don't want that. But this isn't getting set up. Oh, the deployment corner frames need to be set at some point. That's fine because the visibility is being set. So instead of card dragged, let's have a new function here that we say if deployment was marked. Now we can do some stuff. Deployment is marked. We might not have targets, but we might. Oh no, that's different. That's a different. If we've marked the deployment area, then we do want to monitor it because we want to monitor if the cursor is there. So we say... So we don't know about this card dragged, which I actually think is quite nice. Instead, we just do this. I think I want to flip this. I think I want to say if it is in bounds, we'll do this one. If it's not in bounds, this one. Card token added just emits the card token, right? Yep. And it sets the frame. And this frees it. Okay, let's see if that works. It's not marking the boundaries, so I'm a little concerned that there's a problem somewhere else. There is. I do need to stop showing the toggle thing if the card has been dragged. If any card has been dragged, I guess. So maybe I do still mark a card dragged, but I turn it into just a bool instead of an actual card that we're tracking. Although maybe we still want to track the card. Maybe we do, maybe we don't. All right, so something is not... Is our card dragged function hooked up? Yes. So on player card dragged, card. On player hand card dragged. Party roster, character sheet closed, clear card preview, card res is the card data. Okay, so yeah, I don't think match does what I think it does in this case. I think we need to say if card res is hero card res. We can say LF card res is. Yeah, I don't think I can use a match statement that way, which is fine. Match statement doesn't really do us any favors. Was that the problem? Or at least was that the initial problem? Yes, it was. Okay, so now when I drag the knight card... Oh. I dragged it. Color on the base object. Oh, this doesn't exist. Oh, okay, we do need to know about the card then. Okay, we do still need to set this. Because we act on it. I forgot that we act on the card. Although maybe we don't need to. No, we should. We should. Although maybe we don't need to. No, we do. We do. We do. Oh, we already have it up here. What am I talking about? I just don't set it. We need to set it. I do actually still depend on this, turns out. Card dragged. We can say battle map dot card dragged equals card. So on play mat card dropped. We actually need to probably clear it. But we aren't doing that yet. Okay, so we can do that now. We're not getting any kind of signal about when we exit, but that's fine. Do that. So we actually, there's no card drop hookup yet, which is why this doesn't do anything, but it's good. Probably have to do the rest of this refactor today off stream. We're not done yet, but we're heading towards the 3-hour mark, which is usually my stopping point. But we're still cruising. Still cruising for a bruising here. All right, so we do still want to set this. We're just not going to use this to drive very much anymore. So if a token has been added, we get into this other state, this state of preview. We need to track this token freed. We need to do some stuff with token freed. And we need to do some stuff with card dropped. And then maybe we want to use token spent. Let's get back down here. Actually, let's fix whatever's going on. No, we need what we need now is, so if the deployment's been marked, you could say if card dragged and deployment marked. And if the cursor's in bounds, and if we haven't made the card token yet, we update the card token position. We set the frame to 1. Build all of this stuff. Oh, we need to say card token dot position. And we also need to say card token dot tile map equals cursor map. And then if we're not in bounds, we want to free this token. When we free the token, when we emit this, we want to do some more stuff back here at the party roster. That is already here. I think we just copy this entirely. I'm going to call it reject new party member. Maybe reset party member roster or something like that. Actually, is that accurate? Oh yeah, that is good, because then we can cover both cases. Although that's not quite what we do, is it? thought there was somewhere where we do more of a full reset. If card res is equip card. Oh, this actually might be closer to what we want to do. But let's start with this. Wonder if we need to know. Do I need to know anything about the card? I do not. I just need the card res and the card name. It's really simple, but maybe that's all we need to do. Let's see if that works. That'll have a very subtle effect, but it'll be noticeable. So like when we go in here, so we update the roster with the new character we're going to drop. And yeah, if I move out of the deployment zone, we just reset it back. So that's currently what I want. Okay, that's good. Now, so that we can actually be able to drop stuff, we need to know a couple things. So we're going to know a few things. One is on card drop. That means we're doing something. We're trying to play the thing. Actually, I actually see a way that we could make it so that the interface can handle a mouse over of like a character on the battle map and know if a card has been dropped onto it. I see a way to do that now in my mind, but I'm wondering if it's worth it. I wonder if it's worth doing it. It wouldn't give us very much, actually. The only thing it would give us that would be of great note would be it would simplify the process function for the battle map itself. And that could be cool. No, this is better. This is better. Well, they might be equivalent, but we're already kind of set up to do it this way, so we're going to do it this way. All right, so when we drop a card, let's see, what does everyone want to do? What does everyone want to care about when we drop a card? You care about all of this. Specifically, let's focus on hero cards. Let's start with this. Seems good. Actually, I don't like that function I was doing here. What did I call it? I called it like reset. I think I want a version that knows that it's a hero card res. I want to call it reject new party member. Or maybe cancel. Reset is maybe okay. But here, let's add accept. So let's add function accept new party member. Actually, we're going to do this. We're going to say preview party member drop. I'm going to move this function here and say elif. And we're going to get rid of this. So we're going to have preview party member drop. We're going to have reject party member drop. We don't need this check because we know. And then this will be accept. And that'll be fine. That'll cover the three big drops here. We might call it card drop. So it's not like we're dropping the party member, we're dropping a card. Do you not have this function? Okay, it's probably because you're busted. I'm going to say accept character card drop. Preview character card drop. Reject character card drop. Actually, we'll do the stupid way that I phrase this, where I phrase it this way so that I can sort them alphabetically and still have them be similar. Character card drop, preview. Character card drop, reject. And why is this a problem? You literally have a add character card function. Why are you upset with me about it? Play Matt card. I appreciate everyone hanging out today. These functions don't exist. So if character IDX, so actually we've made this one function. We say character card drop preview. So we don't actually need this. We don't actually need to know the IDX. Just say this. This is going to be character card drop reject. And then the last one will be to accept it. Now, if I go back here, this is still wigging out here for some reason. I don't quite know why. Oh yeah, Strivent. The number of problems, the number of errors in programming that's literally just, oh, I inverted the thing that I needed to do. Oh, I did it upside down. Why is this LF here? I think it's an else. Identify a card. Oh, we don't know the card. That is a problem. We move the card, don't we? Okay, fair enough. Using card name, kind of. I'll just say card. Card. We do need the card. It is true. Card is needed. It's not needed from any of these though, but it is needed for when you accept it. Character card drop reject. That's used. This is not used. Fascinating. Why would we not need that? I guess we don't. I'm not complaining. Okay, so go back to main here. So this needs to know the card. It probably doesn't need to know anything else. Where is it? Up here. we reject it, we only need the name. If we preview it, we need the name and the res. Well, we don't really, but we... Actually, we don't need that either, do we? Except needs the card, needs the name, needs the res. We don't need this, check. Okay, what are we not using? Card, card name, card res. Okay. Okay. If we can at least just play the units again by the end of this, I'll be reasonably happy. Okay, so card enter works, card exit works. And then if I drop, okay, oh, well, 1, we didn't let go. 2, what's going on here? 0. How did you not know? Okay, well, we need to dig into that a little more. Selected character, update display. Character sheet close. Selected character. You have no characteristics, but you exist. How is that? How is that possible? Oh, this is a rejection? Why is this a rejection? If card dragged and depth bound. Oh, I dragged off. If card token. Oh, we need to spend the card token. We still need to do that part. So you were just using original position dot y in a spot in parentheses that was supposed to be time in seconds. Why didn't that throw an error? Because that's a valid input for time in seconds. Position.y position.y is just a float. And if you expect time in seconds, that's also just probably a float. I mean, I don't know. I don't know the exact function you're referring to, but a single component of a vector would either be an int or a float. And if it's just position, it's probably an int, and it could be reinterpreted as a float or vice versa. Depends on whether it's backed by like a vector 2 or a vector 2i, right? If it's a vector 2, it's a float. If it's a vector 2i, it's an int. They're fairly exchangeable. All right, so what is the problem here? What did we actually do? We clearly didn't wrap up correctly. My problem is I started a refactor, changed my mind, and then started another refactor. So this is a little messier than it probably needed to be. Vector 2, then yeah, vector 2.y is just a float. And so if a thing expects T, it probably takes a float. So that's why you didn't get an error. It's also maybe why, unless your function has locked Y to time, or you know what, I could see the braid world where that's how time advances. Because there's a braid world where T equals X, right? That's a fun one. There's a level in braid. Didn't understand it held a value accessible from anywhere. Well, maybe not anywhere. It would certainly be accessible from itself. You know, from the object that owns that position. Okay. So where's the gap in what I've done here? Oh, well, for one thing, I should comment this out because it's probably hurting us really badly. And then this else doesn't make any sense. Quite sure. So the card drop isn't going through. So we do this, bam. It's sort of through, but it's not really because you can see it's still, you know, moving. So there's something I'm missing. Oh, it's also not transferring any of the characteristics. Yeah, there's a gap here somewhere. Post the code in Discord. Which channel do you say? Well, if you just want help on it, use the get help chat. And at least Discord handles code formatting. I don't remember what it is, but I think it's like tilde 3 times or something. Or backtick, is that? No, it's backtick. Backtick 3 times. That's tilde's roommate. At least it is on my keyboard. I don't think that's standard, but... This has been an unsexy stream. This has just been refactor day. And you know it's going to continue being refactor day probably for most of the rest of the day for me. But we will stop the stream soon. I do want to fix this one bug and try to figure out what's happening here. So on playmat card, well this function is hooked up. So on playmat card dropped, card res is a hero card. Card name is the card res.name. Party roster.character card drop accept. So character card drop accept should say if we haven't accepted this, which wouldn't be the case because it's new. Make the tab. No, we have the tab. We know the tab. We press the tab. Oh no, we connect the tab press. Wait, why would we do that? Oh, because we can now, because it will actually cause something to occur. We'll create a new sheet. Say party members dot set card name new sheet, party sheets dot add new sheet. We should probably call new sheet dot setup. Oh, this needs to be a slightly longer step. What's backtick? It's like the mirror universe version of like an apostrophe or a single quote mark, right? This one. So yeah, I'm pretty sure Discord's code format block is just 3 backticks. Am I wrong, chat? I think that's it. That's right. Good. Okay. Okay, so we can't actually set this up yet because this, for some reason, this expects a character figure. So actually, I don't want to do this until I've spent the card token. Although we don't necessarily get a... Okay, I know what we need to do. I don't know if I have time to do it, but I know what we need to do. So if we're going to make this character sheet, we need to do a lot more before we just drop it. No worries. If you have questions, feel free. We hang out. Hey, Nanigans. You're making some new resin D&D dice? Sick. Yeah, well, you caught us at the end here. We're on the way out. I'm going to keep working on the refactor. Next episode is going to be Tuesday. I don't know why I'm holding up this number 2. It's going to be Tuesday. It's going to be episode 20, which feels special for kind of D&D adjacent thing. I'm going to try to have some fun stuff for us. Which means I really need to finish the refactor today so I can focus on that tomorrow. And yeah, it should be fun. A nat 20? I know. It doesn't seem like it's got the same weight if you just increment your way to it, but, you know. It works? Hell yeah, Sraven. Yeah, I don't know what you're doing, but if you're talking about a tween and setting time for 0.5, that should set the lerp to be somewhere in the middle. And I think, yeah, I see how that would work. That's good. I'm glad. I'm going to be honest, and I think like most right-thinking people, I don't actually understand interpolation as well as I would like. But yeah. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your weekend here. Welcome again to some of the new faces.